Hello and welcome to Aren't You Exhausted, the podcast. I'm your host, Ashley, and twice a week I sit down with my husband, Liam, as co-host, and we discuss things going on in Girl World, sometimes Am I the Asshole subreddit posts, and random other subjects pertaining to entertainment. The podcast isn't like typical reaction channels, as this is an audio-only format typically, and is dedicated to those who like to put something on to listen to while going about their day. Aren't You Exhausted? The podcast is uploaded every Wednesday and Saturday typically. This is subject to change if I'm feeling under the weather or my work schedule changes. Liam's Twitch is twitch.tv Liam the Diam, D-I-A-M. And Liam's YouTube channel is LiamGameLordsOnline, if you'd be so inclined to visit to show some support. Aren't You Exhausted? The podcast is now on podcasting apps such as Spotify, Anchor, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts.
You guys, it's exhausting. Aren't you exhausted? Truly. Aren't you exhausted by it? Like, truly. Is it true?
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Aren't You Exhausted? The podcast. This is your Wednesday episode being brought to you on this lovely Thursday because this is not my job and my work schedule kind of has been a little bit of crazy during this new economy that we have going. Anyhow, I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm joined by the cutest co-host ever, my loving and uber supportive husband, Liam.
All right. My chair's squeaking.
Squeak chair.
Yeah, but thank you. Uber supportive.
Uber supportive. We love an uber supportive husband. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing kind of a little of everything going on in Girl World surrounding the top agitators for this week. So Amberlynn Reid, Foodie Beauty, aka Chantal, and a little on the YoMama panel that was done, just because YoMama was kind of a catalyst in what would be an eye-opening interview done on his channel and shared by a few others. Firstly, we're going to start out with Amber, though, just because her content has kind of slowed a bit and not much of an interest has really, not anything of interest has really happened surrounding her channel. So for those watching in video format, I will be posting these screenshots that we will be discussing here shortly. The screenshot was taken from Amber's Instagram account where she is continuing to do Q&As, even though we've been told repeatedly that they leave her in a bad place mentally and she would no longer be doing them. Apparently the approval of weight loss surgery and her French fans have had her kind of turn a new leaf on what her mental health is, and it's in a stellar place as of late. So now, Amber did state in a later Q&A when someone questioned where her Monday weigh-in video was, she responded saying she had some technical issues and had accidentally deleted the video and would need to refilm and edit. So she gave the timeline of sometime today or this weekend that the new upload will happen. I mean, that's what happens when you edit solely on your phone and you don't have a backup. Anyhow, onto the questions that were asked, and that I wanted to have some kind of conversation on. Amber was asked, how are you losing weight now without being on keto when you said you couldn't lose weight because of having lipedema? She answered the first question saying, that's what the specialist said, and I only quoted what she said. Interesting. The second question pertaining to the same subject was about the losing weight without keto. Why did you say you were eating at a caloric deficit but still didn't lose weight? And she answered, because that has happened to me quite a bit. I finally learned from a specialist that it's because of my lipedema, but there's so many other factors that play along with it. Lipedema is rare and a confusing disease. Now, this is interesting because if you guys all remember her lipedema diagnosis vlog, she claimed that this was the sole reason why she was unable to lose weight, and that she finally felt validated for now knowing that she had a concrete scapegoat for her bad eating habits. You know, the meals consisting of 5 times her daily recommended sodium intake and overeating weren't the culprits. It was her pesky, no-good lipedema preventing her from losing weight. But now we're kind of getting a backpedaling on the diagnosis, stating that a caloric deficit over the past few weeks by eating less and being more mindful of her snacking, she's been able to lose weight consistently, though not at a rate she should be by being good in a deficit in preparation for weight loss, but better than nothing in her case. Sorry, Liam, if I'm not really giving you room to
No, I
cut in here.
I cut in when I have like an input.
An input.
Honestly, usually I jump in, I end up talking too much, I feel like.
I kind of just wish Amber would realize that the amount of criticism and hate she gets is by these inconsistencies and her propensity to lie over the kind of the most mundane things. While yes, her audience that started following her because she was on a weight loss journey would prefer she lost weight on a weight loss journey, lying about it or exaggerating the details only really hurts her. She's the one prolonging the inevitable failure of her health, and people catch her in the lies and call her out for them. People are allowed to question her information, and once you lose the trust of your audience, it's really hard to get it back. And here we are 10 years in, and year after year, Amber finds a way to continue to lie, exaggerate, gaslight, and troll her audience. And yet she still sits there and claims she's the martyr due to just being an obese woman on the internet.
Yeah, I mean...
And while there are plenty of obese women on the internet who don't get the amount of hate and criticism she does, because they don't lie to their audience, they don't troll their audience. And I mean, go figure, Amber, honestly.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, obviously, I think that no matter what, I mean, people are going to bully you based on your appearance regardless. I think that's just kind of a natural thing. It sucks, but it happens. But Amber's problem, her number one problem, is the fact that she just, like, she says she's going to do something and then, like, doesn't do it and then can't, like, admit that she didn't do it. Like,
yeah,
you can't be like, well, you know, I messed up. It always has to be this big, like, attack on her.
Well, it also, she, like, lies about the dumbest things. Like, we know that the reason you're gaining weight is because you overate. To sit there and say you ate the same as your girlfriend did and she didn't gain any weight, but you did.
Right, and we talked about this, I think, last week. It was like, she may eat the same in one meal. It's you know, it's like, yeah, you sit down, you both eat the same thing. Okay, well, what did you eat 5 minutes later, and did she eat 5 minutes later? Yeah. Most likely, no. It's like, you can...
Also, so many factors play into that as well, because her girlfriend is more active than she is, going out and doing things outside of the home, and even just being more active in general.
Amber is just like, she's just one of those people that will blame everything but herself. It's all everything's fault. And not to bring this up, but I know you did the research that you have mostly female viewers, so I don't know if any female viewers in your audience are gamers, but it's when I was in middle school, when I was younger, you know, everybody would play Call of Duty, and it would always be something's fault. It would be the internet's fault. It would be the game's fault. It would be, you know, any reason why you lost the game, except, God forbid, the fact that you suck.
May not be good at that.
Right. And so it's kind of a very similar thing. And I always think of, this is why I brought it up, because I always think of Call of Duty, where it's like, yeah, you know, you blame everything but yourself. It's like, well, no, it's because I've got this, or because something else happened, or blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, at the end of the day, Amber, it's because all you do is eat and sit around. What do you think's going to happen? Even if you starve yourself, you're not going to lose weight the way you want to lose it. You have to exercise. You have to add something to it. Like, changing your diet is one thing, and it's definitely a big step. But if she thinks that just changing her diet is going to magically make her thin, she's wrong. People who are thin work their whole lives to maintain that body. Yeah. It is not something that, like, they're given. I mean, you look at somebody, and while, you know, there's definitely a lot, you know, what's considered normal per se, you can kind of have a shitty diet or whatever and maintain normalcy throughout your whole life. But a lot of people who are in shape, that's their whole life is dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Or at least they have to work at it their whole lives. I mean, we've talked about me, how I've gained weight, and for a long period of my life, pretty much the first 27 years, it was eat whatever you want, not exercise, and I was skinny and frail.
Well, that's not fair because you did technically exercise. He did like delivery work, so he was active.
No, I was active.
Much more active than you are now.
Correct. No, I was definitely more active, but my point is, I lost my point now.
Well, anyhow, we're going to go on to an area where you do have a little bit of background in, as we're going to kind of veer over to YoMama. Now I know... No, you do. Now, I know Liam has heard me watching some of YoMama's content, and we both kind of agree he can be very loud and abrasive, over the top, exaggerated, but we both are kind of used to that personality type due to Liam being part of the gaming community, and we watch a few Twitch personalities, so we kind of get it, even though it's not really our niche, but we get it. YoMama, though, had taken the initiative rather last minute and totally not planned out at all to interview Murad. Murad is Allah and Salah's mutual friend, and I believe he also wanted Chantal to be a part of the interview as well.
So if I may interject. Okay, so Salah is her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Allah is the guy with the photo?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you talked about this on your podcast, if you want to just give a quick recap.
I don't know if I've brought up Allah before, but anybody who's coming into this podcast, I'm sure already has some kind of idea of what's going on out there, because a lot of reaction channels cover this stuff before I do, but I just give more in-depth conversation on it.
But Allah is the one who had photos of Salah with another girl.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to get that on the record because you're bringing up another friend, and
Murad.
This is all.
These are all supposed business partners. I don't know if Allah is a business partner, but Murad is who is supposedly in
Nimrod.
Murad.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right because I am not. I don't know Arabic, and I'm not familiar with how pronunciations and stuff work there, so I could
This is
butcher
the closest that we're getting.
Yeah, this is as close as we're
We're
getting.
not having him on the show.
No.
God, imagine we had them on the show.
I mean, it would be something.
You wouldn't want me on there because I don't give a fuck.
Well, also, we would have to have a translator because Murad does not speak English
I
at
don't
all.
do a show just with Murad. Me and Murad.
It'd be constantly just doing the translator app back and forth. But anyhow, in the interview, Murad, Allah, and Salah, and I believe he wanted Chantal to be a part of the interview as well, just kind of to hash out the drama between the group of Salah's friends and Chantal being a party too. The live stream started off on a crazily unorganized foot, and no one could figure out Discord. Now, what's even funnier is Salah is like this self-proclaimed gamer and has a gaming channel, but couldn't figure out Discord.
I mean, I will say I've used Discord before, and having it set up on stream, it does take a minute. That being said, if you're about to go live in front of like a group of people, any kind of group of people, you want to be prepared, and it seems super unorganized.
Yeah, it was very. This live stream was very unorganized.
Isn't YoMama the one whose stream it was, right?
Yeah.
So all I had to do was like get in Discord.
Yeah.
I didn't have to actually set it up for the stream.
Yeah.
Oh,
But apparently he didn't have a Discord, which was odd because don't most gamers have Discord?
It is very popular with gamers, but what is more amazing is the fact that he was going into a podcast through Discord. So you think he would have made a Discord before the thing went live?
Yeah.
It's fine to not have a Discord. I mean, depending on, some people stream just straight from their PlayStation, and that could be what he does. He may just stream just straight from his PlayStation, and he won't need anything.
Yeah.
Or whatever he plays on. I don't know what he plays on. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I think they said he's like one of those like mobile gamers, but I've seen him play on his computer. He has a gaming channel, so I'll have you check it out after we do the podcast just to kind of see where
Does
he's
he want
at.
to get more people from me?
I don't know that he does.
I'm sure he does. It's based on the interest of his lovely wife.
But the live stream started off on like a very unorganized foot. No one could figure out Discord, how to bring people into YoMama's stream. Murad had a language barrier. Salah and Chantal were in the stream chat and left before people started joining the panel. And on the panel, they had Farida. I'm not sure I'm even pronouncing her name correctly. Again, this is a foreign name, and I'm not foreign. And I could type I could type this into Google, and I'm sure they would have like a multiple amount of pronunciations. So, but she's another reaction channel that would act as translator for Murad, as Murad is not English speaking. Sarah Jane, which is another reaction channel, I think it's like Skinny Queen or something is her reaction channel. And I guess she was meant to act as a panel mediator to keep things running smoothly between all sides and to keep people from talking over each other. Murad was also a part of the panel, but Salah did not join, and Allah was unable to be reached to join this impromptu panel. The panel was a mess, though. Everyone talked over one another, interview questions not well thought out, and the fact that Farida was the only translator who was trying to ask questions, translate the answers while also responding back to Murad's answers and hearing the responses from YoMama and what to ask next. It was just chaotic and a mess. And even though it was a train wreck, through Mo Translates, yet again another reaction channel who acts as interpreter for the Arabic-speaking men in Chantal's life, we were able to shed some light on some of the conversations had, and this went even further on Foodie's subreddit page, as well as Mo Translates comment section on the video. And some interesting things were brought up, and pertaining to answers Murad gave, unknowingly outing his beloved friend and Chantal and Salah's relationship. And one of the funniest was when Farida asked Murad what he thought of Chantal when first seeing a photo of her. While I don't really feel this is an important question in the matters in hand, it did lend itself to the validity of information shared later. Murad's response was that young men like good-looking women, but Salah had been with so many women that he got tired of looks and wanted to settle down with someone he could be more steady with. He doesn't care about looks.
First of all, let me just throw this out there. I understand his point of view. What a bro, by the way. Say that.
Yeah.
Oh, while the wife's listening. But like, and I get that, but Chantal's got the shittiest personality. So already, he fucking failed there.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what he's saying. He's saying Chantal's fuck ugly. He doesn't give a shit, which is hilarious. That, you know, we watched that video the other day where Chantal was like, I can get any guy I want. And her fucking husband's friends admit that he doesn't care about looks anymore and he'll just be with a fuck ugly chick. It's like, yeah, well. Yeah,
Also,
you just gotta wait until they banged everybody they want to bang.
she claimed to be hotter than 90% of YouTube.
Really? Yeah. What is she watching?
I don't know. I would love to have an ounce of her confidence sometimes.
Yeah, well, that leads to, trust me, you know,
Delusion.
right? There's confidence and there's stupidity.
Maybe that should be a perfume that Salah comes up with.
I think
Delusion.
Yeah, I think he sprays it in his eyes before he bangs Chantal.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Anyhow, on to the rest of the conversation. I also was like, what can be said that he does? I mean, granted he doesn't care about looks or whatever. Okay, cool. But what can be said is that he does care about location, because he could have just as easily had less of a headache by finding a local woman to do all this with instead of marrying a woman he barely knew that wasn't able to stay indefinitely anytime soon and would have to travel back and forth until her debts are cleared. But that's on to another issue. if what Murad hinted at in the conversation is true, and that's that Salah will be able to travel as soon as he has enough money in his account to show he has a legitimate business. And that gives them the option to travel on a business visa wherever they want, which is going to be a longer process than I think Chantal has the patience for. As with the amount of money she's making now, which is considerably less than she was making when the whole Nader arc was happening.
Yeah, people weren't interested in this one as much.
Yeah. Neither of them are going to be able to afford this
Lifestyle
investment into his business account to make this happen anytime soon, because with what she's making now, how is she going to afford the back and forth trips to Kuwait, because she can only spend 3 months at a time there. So she's going to have to travel to either back to Canada or to other countries to renew her visitor visa. On top of food cost, her medical needs while in Kuwait, and then paying off her debts from back in Canada, because at a certain point they're going to garnish her wages if she's not making payments. Unfortunately, her check is still going to go through Canada because she can't claim citizenship in Kuwait. But how is she going to manage to invest back into her husband's part of the company to show business growth if she doesn't have that money to spread that evenly? Another issue is that neither Murad or Salah are Kuwaiti citizens. They are from Syria, and through a Google search, I found that in order to own a business in Kuwait, you must have good knowledge of the region, have a local partner who holds the majority of interest, and can control the business. When the business is registered, they have to show the Ministry of Commerce that they have a substantial sum of money to invest, and it can vary by state, but between 65,000 to 50,000 pounds, or 6,500 to 50,000 pounds in most cases, to guarantee against liabilities. The process is complex and financially risky, meaning the local knowledge of the area is crucial. So we know Chantal gifted Salah roughly $9,000 to start his business before visiting Kuwait to marry her beloved and begin this whirlwind. So could this have been the investment portion of the transaction that they needed to take place to legitimize the business in Kuwait? How long before they've milked Chantal dry in this situation? I mean, she's already started to lose subscribers from her main channel due to her giving up her pets and leaving her struggling roommate to fend for himself, showing no concern for his mental well-being in the slightest, because her husband comes first and her happiness comes second. But this was a man she convinced to get a place with her, poor Pete's, and that she laid all of her burdens on and used as a babysitter and a delivery service so she could avoid going up and down her stairs, that took care of her cats when she'd leave for days on end to visit men, to go out of state to eat, to vacation. Yet he needs her the most in this incident as an understanding person and as a friend, and she's like, fuck him, he's on his own to fend for himself, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, so
it's a really shitty friend.
I'm just gonna say this because I feel like it needs to be said, just to put on the record. 100% he's using her, and I think that I'll play this game where we pretend like, you know, we're interested in their relationship and like everything new is like whoa, but let's just put it out there that most likely he's using her to get to the United States or for whatever.
For just traveling purposes, because he can't leave Kuwait right now.
Like, I just want to put that out there that even though we're talking about the relationship and, you know, talking about like, oh, we're playing devil's advocate here, but at the end of the day, I think we both agree that most likely what's going on is he's using her for whatever purpose he needs her for and isn't really into her. And that's just what it is. Most people don't look for a relationship that is this complicated, especially and they get married this fast.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it goes. The only reason why you do this is because you don't really care about the other person and you're using them for whatever. I mean, you look at 90 Day Fiance, and most of those situations with the ones that you can like pinpoint as, oh, they're just using them for what? This is how it always goes. It's after like 2 weeks of talking, they're like ready to get married and move to the United States.
And there's always money involved in the transaction.
And the ones that are like serious are ones that, you know, they're going on like dating for like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that on the record, just so anybody who thinks that like we're buying into any of this stuff be like, well, you know, there's no way he's serious. We know, like,
and
it's definitely possible, but I just want to point out that anybody who really like loved their wife wouldn't let somebody go on a podcast and say, oh, he doesn't care about looks. He's already banged a bunch of good-looking girls. Now he's with, like, you just don't say that.
Yeah.
Like, I would never say that.
Also, something else that was very damning in his response was, I guess, when he first was answering that question, he said, oh, about her money. Very odd that that's the first thing that he responded with, which goes to show that Murad and Salah, since they are business partners together, are very much so using Chantal to fund their ways out of Kuwait. Even if it's just for travel at this point.
Which I think about this, and I think, like, I probably could, you know, scam somebody out of some money.
Yeah.
I think I could do it.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to. Then I'd have to have sex with Chantal. But my point is...
Well, we don't even know if that's been legitimized yet. Their marriage hasn't even taken effect yet. People have contemplated that that's the reason she's trying to get back to Kuwait so fast, is because her marriage will finally be finalized in March. So she's trying to get back to Kuwait for that, because I think she's got to be at the courthouse or wherever they're having the... So they have not had sex yet? I don't know.
But, like, isn't she offended the fact that he's had sex with other girls and not her?
I think that's why she has, like, such bad depression over this since being back in Canada. Since that picture has surfaced. I mean, they claim up and down that it's not him, even though...
Her friend just said.
His friend just said,
yeah, he's been with good-looking girls. Now he wants...
Yeah.
He's had the best, now he'll have the rest.
He's had the best that won't give him money.
Right.
So now he's got to settle with Chantal, who openly has said that she doesn't mind paying for her affection. So...
But then he goes on and says, I can get whoever I want. It's like, yeah. Bitch, you're not that rich.
But Chantal's live streams after the interview took place, she deleted a few of them because they were just desperate rages. But she did rage after Murad was on the YoMama panel very impulsively, because this was before she knew anything that he was saying, which is very on brand for Foodie, because it ended up causing some tension between her and Salah because of her raging and not being able to trust anyone and everyone being clout chasers. Murad and Salah talked her down in the stream and apologized to her, but she continued to talk shit on the other members of the panel, mostly about looks, but that's kind of Chantal's go-to. She has to put down people's looks because she can't come for their character or anything else involving them. It's either their looks or their family, which is so weird coming from someone who looks like Danny DeVito and Uncle Fester had a love child. For someone like that to come for other women's looks. Also, the fact that Chantal has stated multiple times that she's paid men for their company, of course this is a reason she's never denied men that she wants, quote unquote, she wants. Because look at her track record. The men she wants are drug addicts or spineless. Right. If you pay them or give them coochie, of course they're going to be willing participants.
She only wants men who either
are desperate or want money. Right. Or not even want money, need money to fund their drug habits.
Or know that they could use her for...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
For a means to an end of something. So... And the fact that she plays oblivious to it and thinks that it's actual love, yada yada blah blah.
The problem is she doesn't make enough money to like warrant that kind of lifestyle.
No. And once they catch on to that, she's going to have a really fucking rough time. Like, it's going to be bad. We think Pizza's bad now, like talking depressing shit, saying how his life's pretty much over, having to go back to live with his mom, tucking tail between his legs, having to deal with a friend that doesn't even care what the fuck happens to you because she's got other things going on, even though he had to drop his life to help her out.
Well, that's his own stupid fault.
It is his own, but it's craziness. It's so crazy. Yeah. But that is going to be all for tonight's episode. We made it through relatively quickly. Liam didn't have much.
Usually I'm the one to make things long, so I tried to...
in the way of input, but I think we covered everything that I really wanted to cover. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you guys again on Saturday. Possibly.
Yeah.
I do have a long weekend this weekend, so if it doesn't happen Saturday, it'll happen Sunday or Monday. So trust and believe. Watch the community tab if I change the schedule. But other than that, thanks you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.